Welcome to everyone to Sauce Time Gaming. Thank you for clicking on today's video, and above all, I hope you find this information useful to make you a better Warzone player. So what I bring today is a paradigm shift of sorts, if you will, and you're going to see that in a moment. I'm going to talk to you about the updates with the recoil patterns that was made on the Fara and the C58, which their recoil was increased, and the adjustment that was made to the barrels for a lot of the AR or the assault rifles. So I'm in a plunder match, of course. I'm gonna drop in here in this area here. I saw this area from one of J God's videos, and I thought it was pretty private, pretty good for testing this recoil here. So what I do is I take a weapon and I give it its biggest mag, and I just test the recoil that way. So let's look at the Fara here. Interestingly enough, the Fara kicks right, then kicks left, then kicks up, and then stalls, which is pretty interesting, and that probably is the reason why a lot of people say the Fara has no recoil, because when it gets to a point, it does actually have no recoil. But let's look at the C58 here. The C58 kicks pretty straightforwardly up. It's a heavier kick than it was before, way heavier than it was before, but it's still very manageable, right? We're looking at the recoil patterns here. The C58 has a lot of that bounce, but we're going to understand a little bit about how to control that, and because of its slow fire rate, it's not really that complicated on the vertical side, and I'm going to be helping you out today with the horizontal side. So what I do next after checking the recoil here, I'm kind of just logging in the data because I have a document ready for you guys that I think you're going to love, and it's really going to help you reach that next level of using the best setup and being able to really win those gunfights because of your recoil control. But we'll talk about that maybe in a later video when I have that completely ready for you. For now, I'm gonna be setting these weapons up in a way that just tests everything, right? So I'm gonna be adding the suppressor to it, the pretty standard barrel, I guess, if you will. I'm gonna leave the mag as it is, and then you're gonna see what's gonna be different here. It's gonna be the underbarrel. So we have, of course, the agency suppressor. We have the last barrel for the assault rifles, to which it was sort of adjusted, but still gives you pretty decent recoil control. We're gonna use the Foregrip first. Check this out. And we're gonna add the 3x optic because it seems to be the most popular, and to a certain extent it seems to give some sort of recoil control as well. So again, agency suppressor, we're gonna use the task force here for the C58, and then for the underbarrel, again, we're gonna use the Foregrip, not the meta field agent grip, and here's a recoil for the Foregrip. Check it out. Right, it still kicks up, right, because the underbarrel we added was for horizontal control. Look at the Fara. Keeps that tight recoil pattern, and it stalls up top. It's a fantastic pattern, don't get me wrong, right? Just look at that. Definitely that's why people say it has no recoil, which it does, but again, maybe I'll digress on the topic. So let's try the Spetsnaz grip on the Fara here, and for the C58 we're going to be using the field agent grip. This is the meta setup, right? Let's look at the recoil here. Okay, still kicks up, pretty decent amount, but again, it's just controlling that a little bit more. Now look at the Fara. Curves right, curves left, and eventually starts actually curving back down, which is a negative recoil pattern. It's kind of crazy because I think it's the first pattern that's negative technically, but it's kind of an awkward setup. Right now we're going to try the final underbarrel, as you're seeing here. Look at the recoil pattern here. The crazy thing about this underbarrel is that it enhances your sprinting move speed, and it gives you that horizontal recoil control, so it helps you be less of a sluggish AR, and it gives you a way more mobility. Right now look at the Fara setup, and if you're looking at that recoil pattern, I would say that the SFOD speed grip on the Fara is way better than the field agent because it doesn't give you that negative pattern. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, but I would go for that last underbarrel attachment to get the best recoil for actually both of these rifles. Now, I tested the QBZ and the Krig as well. As you're gonna see here, I didn't do their straightforward recoil without the underbarrels, but I'm just gonna set them up again in the most meta way possible, right? I'm gonna use the best recoil control barrel, and the only thing that's going to be different is going to be, of course, the underbarrel, right? We're gonna start with the Foregrip. I'm just choosing cosmetics here. You know, don't pay too much mind to that. Again, I'm gonna use the largest mag, the last one. Again, this is just to get its true complete recoil. And we're gonna look at these patterns, and actually it looks, because I had done the testing for these two weapons before, and it looks like the recoil for these have actually been slightly, how do I say this, they've been made easier to control. Like, they're way more linear. They had more horizontal bounce before, but you're gonna see now in a moment here that they are very straightforward. So we're gonna see the foregrip first. Again, remember, we're gonna test them all first, and then you're gonna see the comparison, and again, you'll be able to choose which one you feel best. So for the QBZ, the foregrip is a straight line, is straight up. This is by far the easiest to control recoil you're gonna find out there. This is hands down the easiest. If you look at the Krig with the foregrip, it's pretty straightforward as well, very easy to control. It's straight up. I know it's not necessarily zoomed in that much right now, but I'll show it to you. I'll show you all the recoil patterns at the end. So now we're gonna test it with the field agent grip. This is, again, quote unquote, the meta attachments. Again, the focus of this video is all around the fact that there is way more value in other underbarrels for different assault rifles, and this is what I want to show you here, because I just want people to acknowledge the fact that although a lot of people say that, you know, this is the meta, this is the best attachment, truly behind this, and I'm telling you this because I've done the testing for all the weapons at this point, there are other attachments that do a way better job, at least for console players specifically, I would say. Again, because vertical recoil control is easier for us, that you can use out there. So we're going to check out the field agent grip for the QBZ. It still shoots up pretty straight. Again, the horizontal or the foregrip did a way better job at it, but it's still a very easy to control recoil. For the Krig as well, it doesn't bounce too much side to side, but again, you'll see the comparison for them, and you can choose a recoil pattern that's best for you. We're gonna try here the final grip, the SFOD speed grip, and then you'll be able to see all the recoil patterns at the same time. Alright, so the QBZ is up first. So strangely enough, for the QBZ, the SFOD speed grip seems to give it a weird curvature to the left, which I had actually never seen before in the testing I did. In the case of the Krig, you can see it still has that, you know, that curve that it did with the foregrip as well. I mean, it's doing it with all of them, but I would say that for the speed grip, it's weirder. So I really wouldn't recommend for either one of these assault rifles the SFOD speed grip. I would actually recommend the foregrip. I see that recoil is way more straightforward in all cases, but again, I'll leave that up to you. For now, that's pretty much all I had for you. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you stick around for more content to come. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and always remember, Sauce Time Gaming.